The 2027 sleds have dropped, and Skidoo and Polaris have revealed their lineups tonight. Am I ordering one? Should you order one? Let's break it down. I have an Adrenaline now. I've spring ordered sleds before, my free ride and my Summit X, so I'm very familiar with the process. And I gotta say, Skidoo has really brought some heat to the table with some bold new graphics. You can even get the free ride in glossy purple. Seriously, there are some neat things, maybe. The base model Adrenaline now gets the short tunnel, coilover rear suspension. Thank God torsion springs are finally gone. The Summit Adrenaline with Edge package, like what I have, now just becomes a Summit Edge. It gets the same coilover rear suspension as last year's Summit X, where it gets the T-Motion lockout. Summit X and Expert have no changes, new colors, orange. The Freeride gets last year's weight reduction with the super short tunnel and low coolant, and gets a 147-inch track with a 3-inch lug, which is a certified Northern Ontario machine. There's also a new 600 motor. There's also a new 600 motor that makes 5 more horsepower, uses a new oil, and has auto start-stop like a car. What actually matters here though, Skidoo is kind of known for doing this small changes every year thing with like minor tweaks in colors, kind of like how Apple does with their new cell phones. It makes you want to buy a new sled, but there's not as many changes as you'd really think. Those torsion springs is a game changer though, although Skidoo is still married to these garbage running boards. The 147 by 3-inch is pretty slick for Ontario guys. A couple weeks ago, I saw a video on social media of someone running this track. I didn't realize it was a teaser for the new freeride track. The new graphics or whatever. Actually, the graphics is the same. It's just colors. I won't be forgetting about Polaris either. To be fair, the lineup situation is a little forgettable. They also bring bold new graphics. There's a new model, the SPS. Basically, the Polaris version of the Edge gets the short tunnel and belt drive, which you Polaris guys, I guess, are big on. Also, the only way to get the 850 Patriot in an RMK now. Which is interesting because now the Pro RMK and Chaos are 9R and boost only, meaning that a Pro RMK starts at 24,000 fucking dollars Canadian. And if that's too cheap, there's a factory edition for 27 grand that has bolder new graphics, fancy shocks, a cool new rear bumper, and stronger rails. Not gonna lie, this makes this lineup a little daunting, especially for someone that did cross shop an 850 Chaos versus this thing. And I do ride with 850 Chaos and Pro RMK riders. Turbo sleds are still on par with the Skidoo turbo sleds, like pound for pound, price for price, whatever conversion currency you use. But this does alienate the riders that do want the Pro RMK or Chaos experience and don't want to drop the extra 5 grand on a big bore or a turbo sled. Now, the real question is, should you spring order a new sled? Maybe. I would only be considering a spring order if your sled is more than 3 or 4 years old, you're having issues with it, maybe you own like an 8 or 9-year-old sled, or just kind of feels tired and you don't feel like putting in that kind of work to get basically a new sled. If you're maybe wanting to get into a sport, but don't want something that'll break down, you don't want to risk the used market, for example, that's where the new 600 E-Tech will be great. Or if you just have $27,000 lying around and want to buy a new sled. Now, for those that care about my opinion, will I spring order? I'm torn. This Adrenaline works just fine, and I'm going to get screwed on trade-in value because of some things. And I think if I did spring order, I'd go with the 147 free ride because I want to do all the whip-de-doos and the whips and the re-entries like all the 146 guys do, but I want the extra half-inch of paddle. Either way, if I end up keeping this sled, I'm still going to be doing a bunch of stuff to it towards next season that will be on this channel. Oh, I know Articat hasn't been revealed yet, but Articat guys are the only ones that care about that reveal.